everybody. Welcome back to KF&JF podcast. I tell you, man, we've been on the move and it's been great. You know what? We're looking for you in your community, you small black business owners. We're out there in your community looking for you to come on this show and tell our listeners about your journey. I know if you've seen the show, you know it's really, truly all about you. And we're looking forward to you taking the time to contact us and let us know about your story as a black business owner. Well, you know what? Right now, we got someone here that has simplified that fact and going to illustrate to us all of those particulars about having a small black business. But first, I'm going to kick it over to our co-host, Razak.
Everybody, I'm Razak. I'm the CEO and founder of United Minority Business Ventures. My company assists in the creation and maintenance of your business by forming opportunities to communicate and collaborate with your followers, subscribers, and other business owners. We use a wide range of networking tools and methods to achieve results. We assist in the idea associated with social media marketing, building your marketing profile, creating your marketing strategy, building your financial profile for your business, or branding your product or your merchandise. We may also determine what licenses are needed to operate your business, or if you're planning on owning your own domain or buying into pre-existing sites that host your page. We also assist by managing your website, and we do this by selecting posts that create subscriptions, comments, and likes. We also assist by generating comments on another individual's business site or page that create a dialogue of conversation directed towards your page. We also like to help navigate through the thousands of companies asking you for money when there's free companies out there. It's just a matter of starting from the ground level or having pre-existing funds to buy into something flashier. And this, Destiny, sorry, it's a pleasure to meet you today and have you on the podcast.
You too. Thank you for having me.
No problem. You know, we said, we like to always thank Razak for the work that he's doing out there in the community and joining us here on the podcast to help everything move along as well as a co-host. But one of the things that I want to talk to my viewers about right now is this person is a star. Not only I know she's a star. She comes from one of the star interviewees we've had on our show. I won't say anything about that, but you will find out about it as she goes through this. So I'm going to have her introduce herself right now. Why don't you go ahead, Destiny?
Hi, everybody. My name is Destiny Hooper. I am the owner and balloon artist behind KISMETIC Creations. So we are an event design business. We decorate every special occasion you can think of: baby showers, birthdays, corporate events, graduation, whatever you're celebrating, we got decorations for it.
Okay.
Well, I know you got more than just making the creation for people. The way your work looks, it looks like it's a star-studded event, you know, some of the things that you be going to. So what inspired you to get into this business?
I was initially a manager at Amazon after I graduated from UCR in 2020, but it was right after the pandemic, well, right in the middle of the pandemic. So it was kind of hard to find a job that I was actually interested in, like in my field. So I worked at Amazon for about a year and a half. And then my sister, she actually ended up pregnant and she asked me to do her decorations for her baby shower, her gender reveal, all of that stuff. And I don't know how I jumped on YouTube and I jumped down a rabbit hole. I was watching YouTube video after YouTube video after YouTube video for hours. And I ended up making something and everybody was like, oh my gosh, I need a business card. I need a business card. I didn't have none. But the next day I made my business. I got some business cards. I started passing them out. And a year and a half later, here we are.
Right. Okay.
Wow. Well, I'm telling you, if it's that easy, I would think everybody would be in business by tomorrow morning, man. The whole world would have a whole big giant uplift in small black business owners. But I know there's some other stuff in here you ain't talking about. We're gonna get to it here soon. Let me ask you this as well. What is a unique fact about Destiny nobody knows? I know people out there just wondering, what is about this girl sitting over there popping balloons and making balloons? I know something else going on. Tell us about it.
Something that nobody knows. I think maybe a lot of people don't know this. There are some people who know it, but I am fluent in quite a few different languages. I do speak Spanish. I took Japanese for 4 years, and I learned sign language for a couple of years also. That was what my major was in college, was Spanish. So I went to go study abroad in Argentina. I lived there for a couple months. So even though I do balloons and I do parties and stuff, another one of my passions is just learning languages. I think German is next on my list also.
Okay. Okay.
What you say? Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, siete, siete, ocho. I don't know anything more than that. Movie and
Dos
gracias,
tacos.
you say, a couple of bad languages, and poquito, just a little bit. That's all I've learned on my Spanish. And my last name is Fernandez. So if you went in there and took a whole lot of Spanish classes, I am proud of you, girl. You talking about nobody knows something. Those are things that I would be afraid to have somebody know around me, all these different languages and moving about. So people getting those balloons thinking they just buying it from a small black business owner and they talking stuff and you're like, hold up, I heard that.
I
I
know
heard
what
that.
you're
You got to
saying.
change your mind. Go ahead, Razak. Tell us what kind of questions you have for that, man. Huh? Yeah,
Um,
tell us about it.
could you share a particular moment that you consider a turning point in your life?
Ooh, a turning point in my life. It's kind of dark, but when I was in college, actually, my boyfriend passed away, and that is another thing that got me like really into like making sure people spend quality time with their family and their loved ones. I grew up as the youngest of four, and we have like Sunday family dinner every Sunday. One of my mom's big rules was no phones at the dinner table because she wanted to make sure we all got to spend time together. When I got to school, I kind of like lost that aspect, of course, because I wasn't close to my family anymore, and my friends became my family. So it's been a lot, but it's been nice to, meet new people and make sure that they're spending time with their loved ones and getting to see everybody in happy moments. It's been great.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I
Could
can
you
see that.
could you recall a specific moment or event that actually was the thing that set you on the path where you are today, though?
Mm,
I mean, we know you said you started, doing something for your sister, but was there something more to it that actually made you say, okay, well, this is what I'm going to do for a career. This is, this is on this because I know you got to put that time in to get this done.
oh yeah. Well, when I was working at Amazon, I was working in a warehouse 14 hours a day with people who absolutely hated being there. So I was kind of meeting people at the sad times in their life, not sad times, but like, nobody's really looking forward to go to work. You want to spend time with your family, you want to have fun, you want to do stuff. So just being working at Amazon and seeing them in negative spaces, I'm happy now that I get to see people in all the positive spaces in their life instead of the bad times.
Right. Right. Okay. Were there some
Yeah,
challenges or
that's a hard
setbacks
thing.
that in creating your business? I mean, so you're dealing with people who might be having good times or maybe having bad times. Was there like a sometimes where there was like a impact on you on your business or your personal life that through the business that you have with somebody else that affected you?
Can you say the question again? Sorry.
I said, were there like setbacks and challenges that affected you in your business? You know what I mean? Going because you're
Mhm,
dealing with people who might be going through something, you know what I mean, or they might be celebrating something.
mhm.
Did working with them or for them affect you in some ways that you can tell us about?
Oh, I mean,
Business or personal?
business or personal. I actually just did an event a couple of weeks ago with a woman. I believe her name is Dr. Tina Green. I'm sorry if I got her name wrong, but she was actually a big motivation to me. I'm gonna look into making her my business mentor. I've gotten to see her like do her speeches. She asked me to do some balloons for a event that she was doing the other day, and she's kind of propelled me in the last couple of weeks just to be more ambitious about my business and to be more vocal and be able to, you know, like sell myself pretty much, be able to be more confident in talking about my business and pitching myself to other people.
Okay, okay, and how you introduce yourself? Would that be your pitch,
No,
or
I
or, or
still
is there
did a
more
little
to it?
I still need a little more practice to it, but I'm definitely working on it. I think it's much better than the pitch that I would have had maybe 2 years ago when I first started. So that's another thing too with my business. I'm really hard on myself in my business, in my schooling, and everything that I do. So with balloons, every event is different. Every balloon setup is different. I can twist the balloons to the left and it'll look like a whole different thing, and I'll turn them to the right and now it looks like something completely different. So I'm also learning not to be so hard on myself and just kind of like live life and be free.
Okay. Keith?
Wow. One of the things, a couple of questions I had was to do you lose a lot of balloons? Is there a lot of balloons that you talked about the customer doesn't really know how much you put into it, but do you really
Mhm.
lose a lot of balloons? Is it a lot to take to make this and then you end up breaking even on the balloons?
Not necessarily, not breaking even. I do lose quite a few balloons with, of course, them just like popping if I overinflate them, or sometimes they come with like the balloons will have holes in them already. But because I use such high quality balloons, that's another thing that sets me apart from a lot of other business owners in the balloon world. So I use high quality balloons. They are biodegradable. So these balloons have actually been up for, I want to say, maybe 3 weeks already. I did these for a photo shoot that I did for my rebrand of my business. So I don't lose a lot of balloons, but when I do use them, they last for a very long time. They're very high quality balloons. That's one thing I like about them.
Well, that makes sense to make sure that you have high quality balloons to last. You don't want to deflate and the party ends, and so does the balloon. The party ends when the balloon ends.
Yeah.
But one of the other questions I had was just a little bit more, um, a little about you, and I'm curious though, how do you deal with this mentally? In the world of business, there's a part about keeping yourself mentally stable, and you've had some tragedies in your life, and I just wonder, how do you stay and keep yourself focused with those things in your bubble as well?
Um, so one thing I do is I make sure I get my 8 hours of sleep every night. It might seem like something so trivial, but one thing I do is I'm gonna make sure I get my rest every single night. And I also just have been prioritizing things that make me happy. I like listening to music, I like cooking, so I make sure that every day I'm doing something that makes me feel good, something that makes me smile. I also relocated my business. We originally started in San Bernardino about a year and a half ago, and we just moved to Long Beach in July. And now I take walks to the beach. I might go walk 3 or 4 miles in the morning just to clear my head before I start my day, make sure my head is on straight. We're off to a good start.
Okay. Okay.
Well, all those things are definitely important to stay mentally fit in the business world. So I know that
Mhm.
that's something that we all try to do. So I would like to ask you also, one of the things that as you're moving forward, did you have like a bucket list of things that you're trying to get done as you're moving through your day and trying to build your business?
Yeah, on a day to day, I'm always trying to make sure I have a email marketing system too. So I'm always trying to make sure that I'm reaching out to new clients and not just having them reach out to me, because a lot of people get overwhelmed with party planning. There's so many things, so many aspects that you have to tap into that sometimes the decorations might be the last thing on the list. You might be worried about the guest list, you might be worried about the food, you might be worried about the venue. So I always try and make sure I'm doing some outreach myself every day. That's one of the main things. And just making sure that I stay healthy, honestly, because I feel like if I'm not a good version of myself, if I'm not a healthy version of myself, I can't really be happy and, outgoing and everything for my clients. So that's a big thing for me also.
Okay.
Well, one of the other questions I have, and I'm just going to pass it to Razak after this, is that tell me a little bit about your role model. Tell me a little bit about, the impact of family. How do you use the family around you? Because sometimes not everybody is involved in your business. Not everybody really wants to give you props for your business. So how do you deal with that? And what do you do to move forward, regardless of what the dynamics is in the family?
Mhm. So I would definitely say that my role model is my mom. You kind of mentioned her earlier in the introduction of the podcast. She is definitely my inspiration. She has been an entrepreneur since way before I was even in the womb. Right when she had me, she was taking me back to work with her in the hair salon. I had her hair clients reading books to me. And when I got old enough, I actually became an entrepreneur myself pretty early. I started making earrings and selling them to my mom's clients. I started making wigs, and I didn't almost put my mom out of business, but I was definitely stealing some clients from her with selling my wigs. I got my first phone in second grade, and she made me pay my phone bill just to make sure that I had that like responsibility and make sure I had that entrepreneurship in me. So my mom is always my top role model.
Okay. All right. That's good.
Isn't
I'm
that
glad to hear
special,
that.
man? That's it. Yeah.
Hmm.
You're, you're right.
So, what are do you have a bucket list or something that you plan to do? You have some goals in mind that you just knocking down as you go through life?
Yes. So when I was, I don't know, maybe 15 or 16, one of my first goals that I set for myself, like after high school graduation, was to buy a house. I always told myself that when I turned 21, I'm gonna buy myself a house as my birthday gift. And I did it. I made it happen. I was a year and some change late. I bought it when I was, I believe, like right after my 23rd birthday. But that's been really fun. I'm a landlord now, so I checked off my big bucket list item, and I'm looking to buy some more properties, build up my real estate portfolio. But as far as my business goes, I'm still invested in property. I want to get like an event space so I can provide the decorations and do like all inclusive decorations and also provide the space for them to have that party.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. So how do you go about planning and prioritizing what to do when you get each one of these jobs that you get for the balloons?
I actually have a what is it called? Sorry, a CRM. I use HoneyBook, so I try and make it really easy for my clients. Like I said, because I know party planning and event planning is already a lot in itself. So I try and mainstream the process. You just go to my website, you put in all the information, the date, the time, what colors you're looking for. We send out an invoice. I mean, not an invoice. Sorry, we send out a menu with our most commonly requested items. You can choose from there, or you can upload a photo of something that you've already seen that you like. I can give you a quote on that. And once you pay the deposit, we're all set. We're all good to go. So I try and keep it real easy. I try and keep it real simple for people.
Say, let me ask you: is there any type of how should I say? Is there like a book or a website that you went to when in how should I say designing these balloons? Did you have to go through some kind of instruction guide or something? I know you said you looked at YouTube, but was it just that simple, or there's like you got to breathe in to I know it. Do you have a machine, or are you blowing up each one of those? How does it work?
Yeah, so I have an electric pump. That's you were asking earlier about my bucket list. So right now I have an electric pump. You plug it into the wall. You press these two little nozzles down, and the air comes into the balloons. But they have this really cool one that I want to get. Actually has a timer on it, so that's on my bucket list. I need to make enough to get a timed electronic balloon pump. And I feel like a lot of people think I'm just getting balloons. Balloons are so common. You just put some helium in them, tie them up, and go on about your day. But I think a lot of people fail to realize it takes a lot of skill. It takes a lot of expertise to actually like arrange these and make them look nice. Um, there's I'm a graduate from YouTube University. I really went on YouTube for everything, but I have a very like visual and creative mind, so I didn't really need anybody to like show me exactly the step by step in person. I just watched on YouTube and I was like, okay, she did this, I'm gonna try and do something similar. He did that, I'm gonna try and do something like that but a little different so I can put my own flair on it.
So when you're making those, are those tied together? I just this is just me just asking anyone. You got to tie with those on a string, or like each one of those things that you're doing right there?
Yeah, so I'm gonna show you. Actually, I have a smaller version that's right here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it in the camera. So when I pull these apart, you can see right here,
Oh, okay.
they're actually all the necks of the balloons are just tied together. So I did get a lot of blisters when I first started tying the balloons together, trying to figure out the best way to do it. But I just tie the necks of them together and then just arrange them and twist them up however they look good.
Okay. Okay. I don't know if you're gonna answer this, but have you ever did an arrangement and like people or for the kids or something, and they started popping them or they knocked them over or something, that you was just like, oh my god, like like you destroyed it. Has that happened?
Yes, it has. So
Yeah.
I did an outdoor event. Actually, it was for a surprise party out in Rancho Cucamonga. I set the backdrop up. I tied the balloons on there, and it was at nighttime and it was outside. So I wanted to make sure that it was kind of sturdy and held down. So I took some strings and I like put them on some grass stakes just to make sure they had like an extra level of support. And out of nowhere, the kids came early and they just started running around everywhere. And I actually did have one of the kids trip over the string that I had there, but I had everything set up already pretty strong. So it didn't mess up the thing. He didn't get hurt. Everything was fine. But the mom definitely had him sitting down in the corner after that because she spent good money on those balloons and she did not want to see those go to waste.
Uh, okay, okay. Say, oh, okay,
Wow,
okay. Now,
wow.
now,
You
now,
know,
with
it's
that,
crazy. It's crazy.
yeah. Can you reflect on a mistake or a challenge that taught you something that was valuable about yourself?
Oh yeah. Um, Time management is definitely something that I've learned with this business. When I first started, I didn't realize how many materials you would need for the outdoor events compared to the indoor events. I wasn't really taking account how the weather and the sun and the wind would affect the balloons. I was kind of just like, oh, I know what I'm doing. Let me just go here, set it up. But I actually did have an event where it was so windy outside, the balloons ended up tipping all the way over, and I had to drive back to the event and kind of reset everything up. Luckily, it was still in my early stages, and it was one of my friends who was kind of like letting me get some practice in and get my foot out there. So it wasn't anything too crazy, but it definitely just taught me to be better prepared, just to make sure I have all my materials, make sure I know what the weather's going to be like, all of that stuff. And also to let my clients know that the weather does affect the balloons. Like these, if they're indoors, like I said earlier, they'll last you for a good 2 months, maybe 3 months. If you don't touch them, you just leave them how they are, they'll last you for a while. But outside, the sun will make them expand and they'll start to pop. The sun can start to change the colors. So there's a lot of things, just being more prepared and better managing my time, really.
Okay. Okay. Let me ask you this
Wow,
too.
wow.
Let me throw this in here. Are there special kind of balloons that you're using? Because I know you don't just go to the store and grab these. Are these
Uh-huh.
they? There's something special or different about these balloons, right?
Yeah, so I actually am going to be doing a video pretty soon. It's going to be about the difference between the qualities in the balloons. So a lot of my clients are often surprised about how much our balloons cost, but it's because of the quality that we use. If you go on Amazon, you can probably get you a balloon kit for maybe $15 or $20, but it's going to tell you it's enough to make balloons to cover the whole staircase, and really is going to be enough balloons to make a garland about that big. And they're probably not going to be accurate to the color that's on the picture. They're probably going to come already popped. They're not going to have the necks on there the right way. So I use Qualitex, I use Tuftex, I use Sempertex. There's a lot of like high quality brand balloons that you can get that people don't even know about. If you're not in the balloon world, you would just think that a balloon is a balloon, and as long as it's the right color, we're all good to go. But there's a lot that goes into choosing the right brand for the balloons.
Right. Right. So okay, so I haven't really heard you say
Wow.
this, so but I'm gonna ask it anyway. Let me see. Is there as you're building your business, as you we know you're stemming from the influences of your mom, and
Mhm.
you was talking about mentoring with this lady you mentioned. Is there a way that you're thinking about building your business or going through life in the terms of a legacy that you're leaving behind, or is there something that you're creating as in
Mhm.
a long term, you know what I mean, effect?
Mhm. Yeah, so right now I feel like I'm still in the baby stages of the business just because this is going to be my first time doing my business full time and really dedicating all that I have to my business. So right now I'm working on getting consistent clientele and just making sure that, I'm providing services that my clients will be happy with. But in the long run, I do. I think I want to be at home. I want to be taking care of my kids. I want to be spending time with my family, just like I encourage my clients to do. So eventually, I do want to be like have a less hands-on experience with the business. It's very ambitious, but like I was talking about earlier, the different quality of balloons. I really would like to create my own brand of balloons. Like I can have my own custom colors and pretty much solve all the problems that the other balloon brands already have. Sometimes they come like super dusty and your hands get ashy and now you're walking around looking crazy once you got done doing the balloon setup. So there's a couple things that I've noticed, even with the high quality brands, that I would like to fix in providing my own balloon brand.
Okay. Okay. Keith, you got some questions?
Wow, that's great. That's great. Yeah, I would like to ask a couple things. One is, can you talk about the danger of working with balloons and helium? Can you let our viewers know a little bit about? Yeah, I know you're talking about the. It is helium, so it has some
Mm-hmm.
side effects. People like to always put it in their mouth and try to talk all crazy with it. What are some of the
Mm-hmm.
things that you um, have found to be dangerous about the balloon industry?
For me, the biggest thing that I've noticed is kids wanting to play with the balloons. I don't think that people realize how big of a choking hazard the balloons can be. Once they're popped, they can break up into like little small pieces of rubber. So that's definitely something that you can choke on. With the helium balloons, if you release them up into the air, they can get caught on the power lines, and that could just be a disaster for everybody. So there's a lot of things that you want to be careful with about using the balloons. But the balloons like these behind me, these are actually filled with air. So you don't have to worry about them like floating away or weighing them down or anything like that. You want the only thing you would need to be worried about is the choking hazard if any of the balloons popped, or if there was something like weighing the balloons down that you tripped over, that would be something to worry about. But the balloons are pretty safe, I would say.
Okay. Okay.
Well, that's good. That's good to know because there's always I've known when I start dealing with helium balloons, I would put it in my mouth and try to talk like I was Chinese or some other language and just keep
Mhm.
on doing that. But one of the other things I'm going to roll back and talk about a little bit. You said that you were a real estate person into renting properties and whatnot. How do you adjust that from the business of balloons and then trying to get into the property management and real estate
Mhm.
world because both of those are a little demanding. So how do you find time to do that, and what can you tell our viewers about multitasking?
Ooh, that is a good question. Multitasking. For me, I am a pen and paper person. I am very old school. If I don't write it down, I'm probably going to forget. I have whiteboards all around my room. I have calendars in the living room, in the bathroom, in the kitchen. I got to make sure that I keep everything written down so that I can remember it. So just keeping myself on a schedule is really the best way for me to stay level headed with everything. Um, with being a homeowner now and renting my home out, being a landlord, that has presented its own set of challenges because I am still pretty young and new to the home ownership world just by itself. So being a landlord has uh, it's been tough, but luckily my house is pretty new. I was actually the first person to live there. When I bought the house, it was just dirt. I had to wait for it to be built. So I kind of lucked up where I don't have to worry about like maintenance and stuff like that in my home. Just trying to make sure I keep a good relationship with my tenant. Make sure everything is set with my house. Everything is set with her house, and yeah.
Okay. Hmm.
Do you like it? I mean, do you like it in a way where is it part of in talking about life lessons? This is one of those lessons in life where young people need to learn. Well, okay, you're very young, so you're talking about home ownership, you're talking about legacy, you're talking about the futuristic and as far as becoming more of a property owner and business owner. What do you see, or how do you you know work those things out to where you can explain it in a way where the young people that are in your age group or even younger, how can you pass some of that on to them for them to be able to learn from what you're doing?
Mhm. I was laughing because my cousin actually just messaged me the other day and she was telling me that I need to start a course teaching people how pretty much to buy a home at young ages and stuff like that. And I feel like me personally, I feel like I'm not the best expert to be giving advice, but I do realize now that, I have to give myself more credit for the knowledge that I do have because, like you said, there are some people who are younger than me who might look at me and be like, oh, I want to do what she's doing, or I want to know how she did that. And even though I might not have the best advice, I still have a couple of gems here and there that I can drop to people. So one of the things that really got me into home ownership was just the difference between paying rent versus paying a mortgage. I like to know where my money's going. I like to invest my money into things that will benefit me in the long run. So if I'm gonna pay, $2,000 to stay in an apartment, you can get a maybe $350,000 home for the same amount of money that you're paying every month. And it's just an investment. Instead of your money going to waste with rent, you're not gonna get that money back. You're not gonna see that money again. If you can afford it and you're investing into a home, you're gonna be able to get that money back. Now, I try and just think about in the long
Well,
term what's going to be beneficial that way.
I think you're on the right page there, man. I think you're on the right page there, and a lot of young people should definitely be listening to that. And it's just one of those things where I'm hoping that you can also talk a little bit about risk. Being in the business of entrepreneurship, what are the risks that you found to be, something that we need to know about and you have to deal with?
The biggest risk for me has been, I mean, it's been the thing that I've had to work on the most, but it's also been the thing that has kind of set me back the most, which is time management. Because with working for somebody else, you go punch a clock, they tell you got to be here at 9 o'clock, you can't go home until 5, and they have a set amount of things that they need you to do while you're there at work. You know what your job position is, you know what the job description is, you know what you're supposed to do. But when you run your own business, everything is up to you. If you don't make any money that month, you don't do any work that month, it's on you. Can't nobody tell you you should have been doing this or you should have been doing that. So I've been having to really check myself and just be like, okay, this is what you want. This is what your long-term goals are. You might have to do some things that are uncomfortable, like maybe waking up early or having conversations with people that you normally wouldn't talk to. But in the long run, it's gonna pay off. It's gonna get you one step closer to that dream that you have for yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Go ahead, Razak. You have any more questions you'd like to ask?
Um, can you share your personal experiences with skill development and continuous learning?
Yes. So when I was in college, I actually did join a lot of orgs. I'm a member of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. I was the vice president of it was our version of like BSU. There's a couple different orgs that I joined for women empowerment. Like I was just active in a whole bunch of stuff, just trying to learn from as many people as I can and be around as many different personalities and communities and just be able to pick up from every single person. Some people might teach you what you can do, some people might teach you what you can't do. But one thing my dad tells me all the time is you can learn something from anybody.
Right, right. How has your industry, the balloon industry,
Mhm.
if you you dug into the maybe history of it and looking it up and how's it done? I mean, how has it what are the key factors that have evolved in there?
Mhm.
From when you started, you say it's been like what you say a year and a half, right?
Mhm. Almost 2 years,
So from
yeah.
the process that when you very first started and the knowledge you had then versus the knowledge you have now,
Mhm.
how did your business and yourself evolve with your business? How did you improve that?
Mhm.
Yeah. I didn't realize because I was so interested in balloons and because I thought it was so fascinating, so fun, so cool. I thought that when I presented it to other people that they would kind of be like, "Oh yeah, I've seen that before. Like I like that. That's pretty." I didn't realize the shock factor that would come with it as far as the pricing of it. And I didn't realize how much went into it as far as like materials and like you might have the balloons, but like adding these little flowers, adding little small details really will make a big difference. That's something that I've been trying to get into the habit of is adding some additional services aside from just balloons that will complement the balloons and just make the whole event look better.
Right, right. Can you identify opportunities for growth or disruption within your business?
Mm, yes. I think a lot of business owners in the balloon world kind of shy away from being upfront about their prices for that exact reason, that their clients may have a bit of a shock factor behind what the prices are. But I don't like to bamboozle people. I don't like to waste people's times. I like to just be straight up front. Hey, here's what our most requested styles cost. You can let me know what your budget is if you have one, and I can make some suggestions that will still fit in your budget and still kind of get close to the idea that you have. But I think in the balloon world, a lot of businesses are either on the very, very like affordable side or the very, very luxury side. I think there has to be a place in the middle for, people who maybe don't make a whole bunch of money, but still want to have a good time and, make their celebrations look nice. I think that's where I'm trying to position myself in the balloon industry.
Okay. Okay. What's the
That's great. That's one of those things that's
what's the
important.
biggest thing that you had to do? Like,
I don't know if any of you guys are rap fans, but the biggest thing I had to do was actually for Sway Lee's baby shower. It wasn't his baby shower, sorry. It was a welcome home when he had his baby. For y'all who don't know, Sway Lee is a part of the rap group Ray Shrimmer, and I actually went to school with his girlfriend, and she was the one who hired me. So it was really cool just being able to get into kind of a different tax bracket and seeing kind of how they operate and the type of things that they're looking for. Those are kind of like, I won't say my target clients because that is on the higher luxury end, but of course it's my business. It's the way that I keep a roof over my head. It's the way I keep food in my fridge. So I do want to be with some higher end clientele, but I still want to make it affordable for the people who, for the people who want to celebrate with their families like me, the people, all my friends, all of their friends. So I had to find a nice middle ground.
right, right. Keith?
Wow, that's hard to do. That's hard to do if it's trying to keep yourself real and balanced.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real important part as you start to progress in your business, right? You have all of these different, new people that you're meeting based off of other people seeing your work. And then all of a sudden,
Mm-hmm.
next thing all your clients are millionaires, everybody, because once they throw a party, it's a whole week a month in advance
Mm-hmm.
notice, and you got all this stuff, and they want all these balloons all over the house, the backyard, the front yard, over the car.
Yeah.
You be blowing up balloons for a month just to
Just to prepare.
accommodate their dreams of
Mm-hmm.
what they want. So
Mm-hmm.
how are you striking that balance? How are you trying to, one, I want to project. I want to get my business out there to the people that I know I can make the money to pay the bill. And two,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to lose the people that got me there. I don't want to lose the people down here at the bottom that have been able to help me to become the balloon specialist that I am. So
Yeah.
how do you balance that?
So I've actually had to do a lot of market research about kind of like what my competitors are charging for their services and see like kind of compare what my expertise level is and the capabilities that I have with my balloons compared to what they can do. And I'm really cheap. So when I first started, I was always saying like, oh, I wouldn't pay that much for balloons. So I don't know why somebody else would. And I was starting to lowball myself because I was afraid of clients not having the budget for it or not getting any clients because they were turned off by the prices. So my prices have gradually increased since I started my business, but I am still trying to find that balance of making sure that I'm charging what the balloons are worth and also, making sure that it's something that's relatively affordable for my clientele.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So do you have like a lot of people you hire? Is there just a small staff? Is it just you?
Oh,
Or do you
it's just
balance
me.
that to make sure that you what?
It's just me. So I design the websites, I run the Instagram pages, I respond to all the inquiries, I do all the social media marketing, I do the photography, the videography, the bookkeeping, whatever you can think of that goes into a business. I'm doing it for Kismetic Creations.
Hey, hey, that's what it's about. That's showing a lot of talent. I mean, I'm just thinking you got all this other stuff going on. You're
Yeah.
marketing, you're landlord, you're doing all this and you're taking all this. I don't know. I'm going to ask this question and then I'm going to give it to Razak. So how do you find time for yourself or your family? How do you do that?
Sundays. Sundays is my day. So in the morning,
That's right.
In the morning, I do take events. I will take some bookings sometimes on a Sunday, but I don't take any events in the Sunday evenings because that's the time that I spend with my family. That's what got me to start my business. That those are the people who encourage me and support me. So I want to make sure that I'm giving them the time, that I'm spending time with them, that they're spending time with me, that I'm just replenishing myself and starting off my week well. So that's a non-negotiable for me. Every Sunday, I'm gonna reset with my family. We're gonna eat good. We're gonna drink good. We're gonna play some bid whiz. We're gonna play some spades. We're gonna have a good time. So I get my reset every week.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back with Destiny. She's here to give us a little bit more about the product that she offers her clients.
So again, my business is KISMETIC Creations, and we do modern balloon decor for all special occasions and corporate events. So whether you're celebrating a baby shower, gender reveal, corporate event, no matter the celebration, we got balloons for it. So I just wanted to take this time to kind of showcase some of my work and show you guys some of the things that I do. I kind of want to talk about where the business started and all that stuff. So I can start with the one on the bottom left, the black and yellow one. That one is actually for the very first time when I said that I was getting on YouTube and I was going down video after video after video. It was this gender reveal game that I did for my sister. You could pop the balloon and it'll blast with like pink confetti or blue confetti, whichever the gender reveal is for. So that's what got me started. I had no idea what I was doing really, but everybody loved it. Everybody was asking for business cards. So I said, you know what? It seems like a natural born talent. Seems like something I should kind of take advantage of. And I love it. I love doing it. Then the picture right to the left of it with the pink 30 number, that one is a picture that I like to look at often just to remind myself to never be afraid to tell people about my business. I actually got this client from a party that I went to watch the Grand Prix. And I thought I was just, going to have fun, going to hang out. And I ended up making a really good friend there. And we kept in contact for a while. And when her birthday came around, she reached out to me and I ended up doing her balloons. So I like to look at that picture as a reminder to never be afraid to put yourself out there and never be afraid to tell people about your business because you never know who's listening and you never know who you're talking to.
Okay. What's this one in the middle right there?
This brown one, you're talking about the brown one in the middle?
Yes.
So
Oh, well, I
that
guess
is
that's two.
actually that is me and a group of my friends from high school. We are all business owners now. We have of course, I have my balloon business. My other friend, she's a hairstylist. She has a skincare line. So I just put together like a collaborative photo shoot for me and all my friends, so we can advertise our businesses, have professional photos that we can share with our clients. Yeah.
What? Okay. So, when you do these things, what inspires you to make the decoration? What makes you put what balloon here, what balloon there, or add these little? I mean, are these?
There
You
is
got
no
brown.
there's
I
no there's
mean, I
no
know there got
method
to be
to the
something to
madness.
this right here.
There's no method to the madness for me. I really just blow them up, tie them together, and I just arrange them. Like I put them piece by piece, and then I'll take a step back and I'll see how it's looking, and I'll see, okay, where do I want to go from here? How do I want things to look? And I'll just start adding little by little until I'm happy with the way it turns out. I usually end up using a lot more balloons than what I charge my clients for because I have to make sure that I get every single detail right and make sure that it looks right to me.
Okay. Okay. What about this Winnie the Pooh right here?
It's funny you ask about that one. That's actually one of my favorite events. When I went to that event, it was for a baby shower, and the grandmother was actually the one who hired me for the event. And it was her first grandkid. She was super excited. When I got there, she was already like cleaning up the backyard and putting the tables and the chairs up. but the grandpa he forgot to turn the sprinklers off, so the grass was all wet. Everything was a mess back there. So while I was setting it up, I was hearing them bicker, like really like an old married couple, and it just reminded me like around like being with families, like every event is different, but there's still a very familiar, like very human aspect behind every event. It's not like I'm just going to work to do something. It's these people are like these are intimate moments for their lives. So it's really fun. That was one of my favorite events. I tell that story all the time.
Okay, like those little balloon. What is it? Balloon art. What is it called when they twist them and they make little figures and stuff? You do that too?
I don't. I don't do any balloon twisting. I do have some stuffed balloon gifts. I have a photo of it actually. I have some Easter balloons that I've stuffed with some teddy bears and some candy. You can give them as like Easter baskets, or you can do graduation gifts. I think there's a photo that we have of it also. So I don't do balloon twisting yet. I am going to get into it, but right now it's mostly organic decorations like we have behind me, and then the stuffed balloons in the next slide. So yeah, these are some of the works that I've done in the past. If we go into the next slide, you're going to see some other options that we have aside from just the stuff, aside from just the organic garlands that we do. We do have some smaller gift options for the people who may not want to spend so much money on a party. So you can get these customized for whatever occasion. We've done them for Valentine's Day. We've done them for birthdays, graduations. We have some custom Easter baskets you can get also. And the cool thing about these balloons is that they can be stuffed with almost whatever you want as long as it can fit inside a balloon. We've stuffed shoes in here before. I've seen someone stuff a basketball inside a balloon. You can put candy, gift cards, money, anything you want to gift to the special person you're giving the gift to. We can probably put it in a balloon for you. So the prices will vary depending, of course, on what you want to put in there. But we do have some smaller options for those who maybe won't want to throw a big scale party.
Um, so what about this one with the what is this? The jumper right here?
Yeah, the jumper that is for a kid's birthday party that I did. It was for a winter wonderland theme. Those are the taller bounce houses that are rented out actually by another local company here in Long Beach. But yeah, that was just for a first birthday, a winter wonderland theme. I had a lot of fun doing that one. Another picture that's on this slide that's one of my favorites. It's kind of like a full circle moment is the one on the bottom left with the boot. That's actually me down there in that picture. And that's one of my favorite stories to tell also because it was a full circle moment for me. That was actually a event that I did for Amazon maybe 6 months after I quit my full-time job to do my business full-time. And the inspiration behind the boot, when I first started my job at Amazon, there was a lady who had posted a video on Instagram. Her name is Liz Poppin' Balloons. And I saw she did this shoe and I was like, that is so cool. I have no idea how she did that. But one day I'm gonna get Amazon to hire me for their shoe safety program, and I'm gonna do a boot for them. And 6 months after I quit my job, guess who was calling? Amazon on the phone. Hey, we need you. So that was really fun. That was really
Right.
fun. It made me feel like everything that I had been struggling with as far as like, being a business owner and doing things for myself. That was the moment where I felt like, okay, it's all gonna pay off for me one of these days.
Right. Right. So how do
Wow,
you balance
wow, wow.
your work life and your personal interests or passions?
Well, now I actually have a lot of free time on my hands. That was one thing that I was really looking forward to with having my own business because with my previous job, I was spending so much time in the warehouse with no windows, just, always on go mode. And now I kind of create my own schedule. On the weekends, of course, I'm usually mostly busy with events, but Monday through Friday, I spend a lot of time building new hobbies. I just taught myself how to crochet a couple days ago. I'm gonna crochet a birthday outfit. So I've been really enjoying being able to create my own schedule and having a nice balance between working on the weekends and doing my own thing during the week. So this is the back of my business card. This is what I hand out to all of my clients once I'm leaving their event or if I'm just walking down the street. This has a QR code for all of my websites, so you can get in contact with me on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, through email, or directly through my website. My motto for the business is make memories, not mishaps. Like I mentioned earlier, the big motivating factor behind starting my business is how much time I spend with my family. And I want my clients to be able to do the same thing. I want y'all to focus on, living, loving, laughing, having fun, not the decorations being in the right spot or, what time they're going to get set up or anything. Let us take care of all the stress, all the worries, and you just focus on enjoying the party.
Right. So, Destiny, I don't think we asked you that. What is the meaning behind cosmet cosmetics? What
Cosmetic
does that
creation.
stand for something? Does that mean something?
It does actually. So, Kismetic Creations is actually named after me. In Arabic, destiny translates to kismet, and that's why I named my business Kismetic Creations. So, not only are all the events designed and decorated by me, but it's also just a little remembrance that all of us running into each other doing business together, it's all meant to be. It's all part of fate, destiny, whatever you want to call it. It's meant to be that we do business together.
Right, right. That's good. That's good.
Wow, that's wow,
That's
wow,
good.
wow. That's a very important statement that you have that kind of connection or thinking that it's important to create that connection with people to know why they're there. Right? Everybody's crossing path for a reason. So, how do you go about your networking? What are some of the networking tools that you use, or what do you do to get out there to network with business?
So right now I'm mostly focusing on social media. It has been a little difficult because I am the one that runs every one of my social media pages. So I'm currently focusing on Instagram and TikTok so that I can provide my clients with a visual. But I also advertise on Yelp, on Google, on Thumbtack. I'm pretty active in some Facebook groups also, in the Black Riverside group and Black San Diego group, Black San Bernardino. So I try and also stay connected with the people who I've had connections with in the past. Some of my college friends, some of the people who were in the orgs with me when I was in college. So just making sure that I foster those connections that I have with people, because you never know. Everybody's always having a party, but you never know when somebody's going to be in need of something. So I always try and just make sure I stay on top of people's minds. Make sure that when they see balloons, they think about me.
Mhm, mhm. That was
Well,
a
you
good that
got
was a
balloons
good way to
behind
put
you.
it right there. That was a good way to put it. Uh, how has I guess I should ask how has technology influenced your making your balloons? Like, okay, well, there's a lot of people that we have ran across, and they have implemented the AI into their business and stuff. So, have you thought about, maybe, if I'm giving you an idea right now, is there a way to put pictures on the balloons? Have you thought about that? Are you capable of doing it?
I have seen some people put pictures on balloons before. I think there's like a special type of like printable vinyl that you can use to put a picture on there. I haven't tried that, but we do offer the option to get the balloons customized with regular vinyl. Like if you want to put your name or a logo, I have tried to put my QR code on here before so that if I do balloons for like a free event or something like that and people want to know who did it, they can just scan the QR code and it'll take them right to my business page. But putting pictures on a balloon is kind of hard. I haven't I haven't tried that one yet.
Okay. Okay, because I was thinking about that because I see that they can put it on. I mean, we've been seeing so many different designs and stuff like
Mhm.
that, and it just popped in my head. So I wonder if you can have like say if you got your kid's birthday party or something, and it actually says happy birthday instead of like the kind that you scrunch up, or they. Do you guys do that? How do they get the words? How they spell the letters into a balloon, right? So
Uh-huh.
so instead of doing that, it was just have it like imprinted on the balloon. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I was thinking of it like that technology. Have you
Yeah.
heard anything about the technology that's up and coming?
I haven't heard anything about that. I do use AI for my business. Like I said, I'd like to mainstream a lot of my booking processes just to make it simpler for my clients and make sure off the bat we're on the same page as far as design and pricing and all of those things. So I do have some like preset templates that I send out to my clients for the basic information that everybody's going to get: the pricing guide, the booking process, the payment plan options, all of those things. So I have used AI to create those email templates for me so that I can send out to people. And other than that, I have no idea how I would be able to use AI to put a picture on there. But that's something I got to look into because I haven't heard anybody doing that yet. You might have just given me an idea.
Graphic. Right. You
Man,
know,
that's crazy.
you
That's
just said a
crazy.
couple
It
of black
looks like it
groups,
would be.
right? You just had we heard Black Riverside a couple of times, but you said a
Hmm.
couple of other ones. Um, is there like would you consider yourself more into um I should say the diversity of well, is there like a black market versus white market in balloons? Is there like a balance there? Is there a competition? Is there I think you know what I'm trying to say, but is there a comparison there?
Not necessarily a comparison. I think that I have seen a lot more Hispanic people in the balloon industry, but I've tapped in with a lot of different Black balloon owners from Florida, from Texas, from Arizona. I've been trying to stay connected with them and see like how they're pitching their businesses. I don't necessarily target specific audiences. So like I said, everybody has birthdays, everybody has baby showers. I've really just been focusing more so on the financial demographics instead of the race demographics. But of course, like I said, Sundays were a big part of me starting this business. So I want to make sure that we are also having the safe space to celebrate each other and to just love on each other.
Right, right. I like that. I like that. So, where do you see yourself in the next, yourself and your business in the next couple of years?
Ooh, I like that question. I get excited thinking about that because I think that my business is still in the early stages. And like I said, I'm just starting to put my all into it and really dedicate myself to the business. So in the next couple years, I definitely want to be doing larger scale parties. I'm looking to expand into having bounce houses rentals and table and chair rentals so I can offer more full service decorations. And getting an event space is also something that I have on my list for the next couple years. So I want to be able to not only provide the decorations for people to have a party, but also a space for them to have the party also.
Okay, okay. I think you mentioned on it before, but it wasn't a direct question. Does the weather or the season affect your business?
It does. Yes, it does. So we're actually getting into the busy season right now, now that it's starting to warm up a little bit. People are wanting to celebrate more, people are wanting to be outside more. But with that, I do have to be a lot more aware of where the parties are being hosted because like each city, it's interesting. Each city poses its own problems with outdoor balloon setups. Like right now, I'm in Long Beach, and a big problem that I have is with the wind because we're so close to the water. But when I go to maybe Riverside or San Bernardino, it's a lot hotter out there than it is out here. So I have to be more worried about putting the balloons in the shade so that they're not in the direct sunlight and that they last a little longer. So the wind will affect it, the sun will affect it, the rain will affect it, the weather will affect it. And that's something that I make sure that all of my clients know before they book with me so that if anything does happen, they aren't like, oh my gosh, the wind popped and now I want a refund because I can't control the wind. I can't control the sun, but I do try and make sure that everybody's well aware of what the potential effects are.
Okay, okay. Keith?
Yeah, I was gonna check and see is it hard to work with certain clients? I mean, do you have a preference on certain people you work with? Because after a while, you'd be like, man, I'm always working with these people. They always got the same problem they give me. So I'm just wondering, is there a preference in your industry or that you have?
I haven't noticed off the bat a preference for one set of clients or the other, but I can kind of tell by the way they reach out to me for business if we're going to be a good match or not. Like, I only have one horror story of a client that I just could not work with, and it was because as soon as they reached out, they were just like back to back to back, like, why aren't you calling? Why aren't you answering the phone? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, this is a business. Like, I understand that I need to service you, but I also have other clients and I can't be about you 24/7. So, clients that are like super, super particular, like I need this flower 47 degrees over here. I have had some clients who are very particular like that. So,
That's kind of crazy thinking about the fact that you're doing all that by yourself, and then
mhm,
you got to tie these balloons on a string, and then you got to do all that and try to
mhm,
have the eye for coordination and try to build a design off of somebody else's just thoughts and just throwing stuff at you, and then they think, oh no, that was, I was thinking about maybe it should be pink instead of like dark pink, or maybe a light pink would have worked better. So it's just like all of those different dynamics that you really find that maybe you're gonna have to bring somebody else into this mix as you go forward,
Mhm.
to just to have the sanity, for having, decent fingers. Otherwise, you're gonna have calluses on all your fingers trying to get job done. So
Yeah.
how are you finding yourself working with that?
I am actually going to be hiring someone on my team soon. Right now, I'm just trying to make sure that I have the finances to, support myself and to support another employee. But I'm not great at social media. I think that's one of my downfalls in the business. If you look at my personal page, I probably haven't posted in like the last 2 years, maybe. So social media is something that I'm really, not a big fan of. I'd rather have that one-on-one connection in person. I'd rather talk to you in person and get to know you that way. But of course, that's not always an option, especially with my business being in the IE and being in San Diego and being in LA. I have clients from all over, so that's not always, I don't always have that luxury. So, yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
So what are some
That's
what is
plenty.
something of wisdom you can give to our listeners? What is some wisdom that you have out there? I know you got a lot going on, but talk about something you can pass on to some of the listeners out there.
Mhm. I would say don't be afraid to do it. Whatever it is, don't let fear stop you from doing it. I think I spent a lot more time at my job knowing that I was unhappy because I was afraid that maybe my business wouldn't work out. But my business was never going to work out if I didn't put the effort forward to make it work. Now that I'm putting the time and the dedication into it, I'm starting to see the growth. It's not where I want it to be, but it's definitely a lot better than where it was 6 months ago and where it was last year. So my biggest piece of advice is to just follow your dreams and to don't let nobody tell you that you can't do it. I had a lot of people telling me, "Oh, well, your job pays you good money, and you're going to be struggling, and maybe that's not the best thing to do in the middle of a pandemic." But I brushed all of that off. I don't. I know what I want to do, and I know what it takes for me to get there. I just have to make sure that I take those steps to actually get there. So just keep putting one foot in front of the other, keep on trying, and don't give up.
Okay. Okay. Well, as
That's
we
great. That is great.
bring everything down to a close, I think I'm all the more wiser about balloon setup right here. I mean, it's back in the days when we had a cake and ice cream and stuff, like there was birthdays. It was more just to have just balloons in the house. Just
Mhm.
have them there. I mean, and we got to go do all this stuff, and I'm seeing how time has changed that view, that image of it, and has made it more a little bit more elaborate.
Mhm.
Have you had any people maybe in your business time or something like that may think it was maybe too much? Do you think it may be too much? Sometimes, or like it's more than what they expected.
Mhm. I think I paint a pretty clear picture of what they're gonna get before I show up to the party. So I haven't really had any clients who got something that they didn't ask for. Like, of course, I've added some extra details here and there just to like up the look a little bit. But as far as the overall design, everybody's always pretty aware of what they're gonna get. I will say that I think social media has changed just how we party in general. Like how you were saying, back in the day, it was just cake, ice cream, and a couple balloons here and there. But back in the day, we didn't have cell phones to just be taking pictures and posting on Instagram stories and all that. And now I think people are looking for ways to capture those memories. People want an area where they can take pictures to make sure that they don't forget about the party. So that's a lot of the times when I'm doing balloons, it's not really to decorate the room. It's more so like a photo backdrop area so that people have a space to document that party.
Okay. Okay. Let me ask you real quick for the ones that want to, for the viewers, the listeners, the
Mhm.
subscribers. I'm not too sure if you touched on this yet, but for the ones that are inspired by what you're doing and making your creations, do you have any words of advice or guidance for them in getting into your industry?
I would say practice, practice, practice. That's really been the only thing that's really like, gotten me better. No matter what the celebration is, if we're just getting together on a Sunday, I might throw some balloons together just to get some practice in, or we're having like a little small family reunion or something. I'm gonna just always find a reason to practice my craft. I'm always find a reason to throw some balloons here. Oh, we having a beach day? Okay, I'm gonna bring the decorations because you don't know who's watching. You don't know who's going to be there. You don't know, you never know who you're going to come in contact with. So always rep your business, whether it's a t-shirt, whether it's passing out business cards or talking about it. I think you should every day try and represent your business and push your business to the next level somehow.
Right. Right. Well,
I
I'd
think you're
like
right
to
about
thank
that.
you for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me. I thoroughly enjoyed this.
Well,
And
we are happy about that. We're
yeah,
happy that you've taken the time to come to the podcast and talk about your business. It's one of those things that we are grateful for. We really appreciate you and your mom too, for sure, for passing us on to you to give us this experience to be able to enjoy all of the different work that you do. I did have one weird little question, but was how big? What's the biggest balloon you've blown up? Is it? Have you had a balloon
Oh.
that back in the day we used to get those big ones and blow them up? But I'm just curious, what are some of the sizes of balloons you have to blow up for a party?
The biggest balloon that I've blown up was 36 inches, about 3 feet. They do have balloons that come, I think, in 48 inches and 72 inches, which is like humongous. But the biggest one that I've blown up is 3 feet big. I use those in a
Wow,
pool.
wow.
I actually have a picture of it on my Instagram. I did a setup in the pool. I tied some balloons to a brick and I threw the brick down at the bottom of the pool. So it looked like there was like jumbo balloons floating all across the backyard. It was really nice. It's really pretty.
that's cool. That's cool.
I could
Yeah,
just see a
hopefully we can get
kid
that back.
floating up in the air right now, just going off. About
Yeah.
three kids saying, "Mom, what's
Come
going
get
on?"
me.
Because they had that happen. I don't know when some other balloon took off with the baby. The baby's gone and
Oh
holding on to the
no.
balloon. It's just gone.
Oh no.
So you got to be careful with those balloons. Now we're
Hmm.
excited, man. We're definitely looking forward to the work that you're doing, the success that you're going to gain from all of your new vendors that you're going to be running to, and new customers you're going to be running to out there to enhance your business and all of the new things you're going to be learning along the way, and how to tie these balloons, how to make bigger displays, and then eventually getting the help that you need to keep these
Yes.
keep doing this, because it's tough to do everything by yourself as an entrepreneur. So I
Hmm.
really feel like you is one of those special people that are out there, especially being young enough to be able to teach someone else about real estate, about business, about how to stay motivated, and speaking all these different languages. Man, I don't know what's going on. I'm scared of that more than anything else, because you can get out there and be involved in all kinds of situations. That's the
Hmm.
kind of person you want around you, because you already know when you take her somewhere and she's out there, honey, what they say, babe, what they say, what they talking about us, or whatever it is. So I know you get a lot of people to want to ask you about what people are talking about around you when you're in those environments. So tell me a little bit
Yes.
about how the languages that you've learned impacted your life and your surroundings around, like your family and your friends. I'm just curious.
So, my mom actually put me in a dual immersion elementary school. In kindergarten, I started learning Spanish. So, when I was younger, one day we would learn all the subjects in English, and then the next day we would learn the exact same thing in Spanish. And then by the time I got to fifth grade, we had a whole week's worth of learning in English, and then the whole week's worth of learning in Spanish. So, Spanish has always been like Spanish is like my second language, pretty much. Like I learned that like around the same time I was learning English. I grew up speaking Spanish, and my dad always made me order my food in Spanish. I love tacos. I love Mexican food. So whenever we would go to a restaurant, he would always say, "Okay, I'm gonna pay for it, but you got to order it in Spanish if you want to get something." So he always kept me on my toes with that. And now that I have my own business, it's fun to see my clients when they're surprised that I speak Spanish. Like when they hire me, they won't realize that I speak Spanish, but then I get to the event and I hear them speaking in Spanish with their family. And I've told a couple people like, oh yeah, hey, by the way, like I'm done setting up, I'm done cleaning up, but I heard you speaking in Spanish and I speak Spanish too. So, maybe that could boost me into another like avenue of clients. It'll boost me into some other people that I can get in contact with. So it's a nice little thing I like to pull out my back pocket.
You hear that? You hear that?
Yeah.
I just want to encourage anybody who's looking to start a business, whether it's in the balloon industry or in the hair industry, in the sales industry, whatever it is. If you want to do it, I always encourage everybody to step out on a limb and do it. Like I said earlier, fear is very paralyzing and it can stop you from doing a lot of things. So I would recommend everybody read the book. I think it's called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. That's one of the books that I read getting into my business that really helped me step out of my comfort zone and start doing things that I normally wouldn't do. So that is my biggest piece of advice. If you think you normally wouldn't do it anyway and just try it and see how it goes.
Okay. Good word of advice.
Again, we can't thank Destiny Hopper enough for being on KF&JF podcast. I tell you, we really appreciate her for taking the time to come on, and we thank her,
Thank you guys.
for everything she's doing. I'm so happy to hear that she's as smart as her mother says she was. Thank you so much for coming on KF&JF podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Okay,
Let's go
get
for
you
it.
on that.
So, me llamo Destiny, tengo un negocio donde hacemos los globos para las fiestas, si vas a tener un bebé o si vas a celebrar su cumpleaños, podemos tener los globos en su fiesta. So, puedes llamarme 562-685-4293 y podemos tener una fiesta. Yeah, there we go. All right. So I wanted to let you guys know that I do try and make the booking process very easy. This is a part of my website. So if you go on here to the request a quote tab right here on the top, it'll take you to this page and you just put in your name, your email, some basic information for contacting and letting me know what type of balloons you're looking for, what color balloons you're looking for, and when you're looking to celebrate. You submit that and I can give you a quote. We also have this little question button down on the bottom. If you want to ask me a couple things before you decide to book, you can just click I have a question and it'll send directly to me and I can get all those questions answered for you. El podcast fue muy divertido. Me divertí mucho hablando sobre mi negocio y tratando algo nuevo. Esta es mi primera vez donde pudiera como hablar sobre mi negocio y como traer personas nuevas. Entonces, si hablas español y vas a tener una fiesta, puedes llamarme y vamos a tener una fiesta.